Are Exalted Flamers of Tzeentch 4.2 any good? Yes, I had an ancient video for this unit, I think, but who cares? Let's dive into the new and crispier version with FIRENADOES of Doom. Recruited for 1300 gold for 325 upkeep, and in Kairos' starting army, so draining his treasury from the start, the Exalted Flamer comes in with 3180 health on Ultra, relatively flimsy, with 800 barrier points, equal to a lot of units and comparatively a lot of its defense. Armor is 10, phenomenally flimsy. Physical resistance is 20 due to elemental demonic nature. Leadership is a sturdy 70. Speed is an ancient chariot standard 50, so not all that slow. Charge speed is 60. Melee attack is 34 base, and this attack is at once flaming attack, magical attack, and inflicts warp fire, causing -10 armor and 10% weakness to flame as a contact effect. So anything vulnerable to poison will be vulnerable to this. Nowadays, that excludes red-crested skinks. So when the chips are down, just the melee will have an effect on targets. Splash target size is medium and the maximum number of splash targets damaged is actually 6. 6 is a fairly high number for a single entity meant to be used at range. Melee defense is 20, so it is likely to get shredded in melee. Weapon strength is 365 to start with, a full year, split between base 115 and armor piercing 250, which is quite a lot of armor piercing, so this has some potential to help against heroes and armored forces in this manner. It's not a strength by any means, but it can. When your choices are few, this matters. Charge bonus is a tiny 6. Mass is 1400. For ranged, ammunition begins at 15, and what is important about this number is that it is not 10, like the Flamers and Changeburners, and not 9, like the Burning Chariot. Range is 150, which isn't exactly terrible, but keep in mind the Exalted Flamer is on the ground. Missile damage is listed as 1013, with every shot being flaming, magical, and inflicting warp fire, which further affects the damage in your favor. Each projectile inflicts 25 base and 55 AP, with explosive damage of 3 base and 7 AP in a 3 meter radius. Each volley has 9 shots in it, but counts as 1 ammo. Furthermore, reload time is only 8 base, resulting in the crazy damage number. As in, this does not include the new FIRENADOE damage. Total accuracy is given as 20. Calibration distance is given as 100 range, so 2/3 of max, and calibration area is a shockingly small 2. So within 100 meters, the Exalted Flamer is disgustingly accurate even against single entities, not factoring in trying to target speed demons and the like. The Exalted Flamer is demonic and causes fear on its own. What I mean is, it's not vulnerable to terror at all. In the Kairos Redline skills, many colored fires grants a max of plus 10% range and 8% missile strength. At rank 7, an Exalted Flamer benefits from Incendiary Ascent, gaining leadership plus 6 because banishment is for the weak. Weapon strength plus 24%, and it's important to note, this is the melee weapon damage. And spell resistance 15% because spell sniping is a natural threat. In the tech tree, there's only one thing to help this unit specifically, that's Warp Flame Formula, granting -9 upkeep and plus 9% missile strength, but a total of plus 17% missile strength isn't bad. It's also not spectacular. So how do you use the Exalted Flamer? Well, you see, seeing is how you're going to have to assess it. The FIRENADOE effect is new and in one fell swoop solves the one main glaring weakness in this unit's original design. It could hurt stuff, but it couldn't act like pseudo-artillery the way it looked like it should. All of a sudden, that has radically changed. While Tzeentch has plenty of range, it usually has had very little way of really chewing up blobs short of magic, and Exalted Flamers aren't casting magic. They basically are magic. They're supposed to reduce your dependence on actual spells and stretch out your capabilities. Now, single entities, particularly the new melee heroes, can create blobs that the Exalted Flamer can, if not destroy, then seriously scorch and maim. The Exalted Flamer is still a powerful tool to weaken a single entity or hero, but put bluntly, even the seemingly outsized weapon strength isn't enough for that burden. I will say this, the fact it is considered artillery means that shields are ineffective. Any kind of flame resistance will work against it. More than that, the enemies are mobile and eventually will crash against your forces. You're often ending up using an Exalted Flamer as the blob former himself, and that's very dangerous and possibly suicidal. but with the faction you may not have much of a choice at a given junction. As shaky as the unit is in terms of melee defense, it will still hit very decently, and it'll still punch through a lot of armor. Alone, this is not going to feel like enough. With fellow Tzeentchian forces, you can use it as a pseudo-hero debuffing the foe and shielded from the worst damage by your allies. Having said all that for completeness, where the Exalted Flamer wants to be is using every single piece of ammo and gloriously roasting the foe. Only then should you be thinking about melee. With 50 speed, the enemy will need serious cavalry to thwart kiting. Take care, and have fun with Burn Baby Burn!